Yo, 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 what is going on, everyone? I hope everyone's having a good Friday evening. Thank you for tuning in. We got almost 20 people in the chat on just the rolling intro. That is awesome. Thank you guys for joining tonight. We got a pretty cool subject to go over, and I got some screenshots too, or not even screenshots, but you know how we do, and of your comments from the post on my YouTube channel of your very first amplifier when you start a car audio. So I know I threw up a lot of names earlier, but we got a lot of people in the chat. What's going on, 25? Yes, Steelers. I felt like I'm going to rep Steelers tonight because this may be a do or die game. We should not be in the playoffs, and we are. Ben Roethlisberger. If I still had my Ben Roethlisberger jersey, I think it's at my parents'. I lost that. Need to find that. Let's see here. Yeah, is Peter your bro? Yeah, that's my dad. Thank you for tuning in, 25. Appreciate you, man. See, Larry says, Larry Keller, thank you for joining tonight, man. My first amplifier was a Krakow 25 plus 25 amplifier. I like how amps back then used to rate them like that. I know Alpine did too. Installed on the back floor of my 78 Trans Am, running a pair of Jensen 6x9s and also parallel to a pair of Pioneer two-way home speakers on the back seat. Hey, you needed that extra sound. We've all been there, man. That's an awesome first system for sure. Dude, you're telling me, man. I love it. It's black and yellow, gold. It's black and yellow, black and yellow. You know the song. That's a good song. Yeah, they go hand in hand for sure. I've been meaning to think of a good kicker Steeler meme and some Photoshop. So if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see it. What's going on, Mullen? Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Yeah, I'm hoping for the yeah, David, I'm hoping for an upset. You know, I feel like just the way they were playing the past 2 weeks, they got some fire under their tushies. We'll see what Ben and the team do. What's going on, Brad Manning? Thanks for tuning in. So yours was the Kicker 500 SS. Now, that's not the first Kicker amp, because I think that was the SI for Steve Irby. You'll have to let me know when that was made. That's awesome, man. I wish my first amp was a Kicker amp. Can't say that. Let's see. RGA, thank you for tuning in, man. Radio Shack Optimus 20 watt by 2 in the glove box of my 74 Cornet with a Super Tuner Pioneer knobby tape deck for doors and 20 watts for the 6x9s and baby advents behind the seats. That's awesome, man. It seems like a lot of you guys, when you got your first system, you had, you know, amps for your mids, your highs, your bass. You did it right. That's awesome. How many slam dunks did he kick? Yes, 1 home run. Andrew Smith, the Banana Bandit. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. How you been, man? I still owe you $30 for that vape juice. You just got to stop by and grab it off me, or just let me know. I'll get that to you. My buddy Andrew, he hooked me up, brought me over some stuff during the whole COVID thing going on with me, so he helped me out. What's going on, Vega? Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Hope everything's doing good for you. Your name is $100 richer. Directed audio powering 2JL audio W or JL. I just want to say W. You know what I mean? JL audio 15 W0. Okay, so those are the entry ones, but for 15s, those are gonna bang, man. That's awesome, man. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, you did notice a new plushie. I figured, you know, he was sitting up there, and I'm like, you know what? Why not? This is my channel. I'm doing this for fun. I enjoy this, and Blastoise is my favorite Pokemon. Of course, I started out with Squirtle. You know, Gen 1, Pokemon Blue, back in 98, battling my neighbor that had Venusaur, okay? He was Gary. We had the little cable link and everything, man. Larry H says, first amp was a Hyphonics Ulysses 7 or V6i, something like that. I'm going to guess 7. That's pretty cool. I know Hyphonics has been around for a long time. Garrett Clarence, what's going on, dude? More vape. Listen, you got a lot of vape on your channel. I see it all the time. You got to check out his page if you guys haven't already. He does all kind of, it's mostly home audio stuff, but let's just say he tests the speakers, and we'll put that lightly. Awesome channel. Got to check it out, man. Thanks for tuning in, Garrett. 25. You owe me $50, Andy. For what? Samuel Seal, thanks for tuning in, man. Dear says, I had an aftermarket Kenwood head unit. So that was like your first starter, I guess you would say, amplifier, because there's an amplifier and a head unit. What's going on, man? Thank you for tuning in, buddy. Appreciate you. Pikachu! What's going on, man? Super chat gang. You know it. David. What's going on, Dave? First amp I ever put in my own vehicle was a Majestic 300, pretty sure. A Majestic 300. Now, wow. I never heard of that. Sounds majestic, though. Yeah, you'll have to send me a picture of that. I want to see what that is. That sounds cool. Thanks for tuning in, David. Pika Pika. Pokemon and Cookie Monster eyeing each other badly, right? It's gonna break out. You're telling me, man. Andrew Smith, I honestly forgot what mine was. I had 5 systems at once. Your first amplifier, Andrew Smith, he's had probably 6 or 7, maybe more, different setups. And I've helped him along the way. And, you know, he's been in it since the beginning of Team SP Loud. He's come out with Tuner Tuesday with me right before I met Kayla, and, you know, the whole getting kicked out of car shows and everything for our bass. So he really liked the car audio because of me. And right now he doesn't have a system, but he used to have a pretty nice setup with his Sundowns. But his first amp, I'm going to say, was it the Razor? Was it the Razor the Power Acoustic Razor 2500? I know that was at least maybe your first brand new one. I know we got a few used stuff. You had the Rockford P1s or P2s in the prefab box, but I forget what amp that was on. Mullen Performance, Punch 60s on 2 Series 112s. Check it out on the Mullen Performance YouTube channel. Shameless plug. Absolutely, man. Yeah, you got to check out his content, man. He just started posting, not daily, but we'll say weekly, content on YouTube for car audio and other stuff. 25 Boss amp at 350 by 2, but it has 230 amp fuses. So it actually probably did close to that peak rating. That's pretty impressive. Boss, I mean, back in the day, they didn't have stuff that was way overrated. They actually made, we'll say, quality stuff. Not that they don't now. It's just quality ratings. Boss amps, I feel like, are almost indestructible. Check out one of Big D Wiz's videos. I think it was the AR 1500. He literally had to throw pure copper strands into the amp to make it blow up. We'll just say that much. Good protective circuitry and built like a tank. But will it do rated? No. Thomas Thuman, thank you for tuning in, buddy. I don't know the brand, but was the one with the clear top that Walmart sold. That thing was 800 watts or something. Had it on a set of Dune Audio 12s. That was probably the one that I have over there, the VR3. They had a 400. I think they maybe had an 800. I know they had a 1,000 watt and a 200 watt. They had the plexiglass. You could see the inside. Absolutely, man. That's still on my list to dyno. That was actually in my dad's car for a long time. What's going on, man? Saber, I still miss my Kenwood KAC 923. Man, I really miss my 9106Ds, 9104s, actually. I want to get my hands on them. I love Kenwood. They make good stuff. They really do. It's not, you know, your Sundown. It's not your Boss. It's like right in the middle. It's good stuff. Larry H. Hyphonic Ulysses Series 7. Bought it in 89. 50-watt cheater amp will do 360 at 1 ohm. Still have it. Dude, that is freaking awesome. That is awesome to actually have a cheater amp. Now, does it still work? That's cool to know. They were not very majestic. LOL, I used to have VHF. VHF tapes. Andrew said he had 9 systems. I wouldn't put it past him. He had a few. We switched them in and out. Dude went on a rampage, just picking up stuff on Facebook Marketplace. We all know Andrew Smith. Once he gets on something, man, it's game over. But he's got a nice system in his brand new Subaru. I think it's the, what is it? Not the Bose Clipshay, something stock. It's a nice setup. You know, it's got the IB subwoofer in the back of the car and, you know, nice sounding setup. kicked out because of the bass? Absolutely, man. You know how car show people are? Not so much the old people. I like the old people. It's the young people. You know, and let's just say, you know, whenever they're two-step in their cars, it's not a problem. When we're playing 40 hertz for 2 hours straight, it's a problem. So, understandable. But, yes. El Fuego, thank you for tuning in, buddy. Living loud with Andy with the Steelers jersey so he can go in for Big Ben when he gets hurt on Sunday's game. You know, I actually used to play, I was a backup quarterback. I mainly played wide receiver and corner, so let me know. A little short to be a quarterback, but you know what? Doug Flutie, big idol of mine. If you know who Doug Flutie is, you know what I'm talking about. Jaquan, buddy, do you think Kicker needs to start making Korean amplifiers? If they do, they're gonna be golden. Korean like half bridge designs. Maybe is that what you're going with? I know a lot of their amps now and have been. They are actually like full bridge. They're full bridge amplifiers. So they're, if you would compare it to a Terra amp or a Sound Digital, it's in that same kind of class of amplifier in a way. So they're pretty efficient. Whenever you have Korean boards per se, of what we know, you know, there's Korean, there's Brazilian, you know, and the Brazilian we see is full bridge and stuff like that. Then they're half bridge designs, and then you can wire them down. And the efficiency isn't that good, and it's you know, just old technology. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to veer from that. If it's not full bridge, they have Class AB amplifiers for like their 4 channels and stuff, which aren't very efficient, but it all depends. Tom Swearinger, what's going on, buddy? First amp I can remember was that Planet Audio 2500 that was hooked up to those Rockford Fosgate P2s. Everything before that was tiny, and I can't remember what they were. I know. I had a hard time remembering my first amp. I knew it was a Jensen, but I forgot the model, and I had to look it up. I knew it was like 300-some watts. It's been so long. But yeah, dude, I remember that setup, man. It wasn't bad. And that Planet Audio 25, you probably got like 400 or 500 watts out of it. And on those P2s, that'll bang. It'll work. How you been, man? Garrett says the first car amp. Oh man, it was a vintage Alpine with 6 channels, something like that. One little amp ran the subs, mids, and highs. Sub was an Alpine type cheap 10. 10. That's awesome though. Yeah, I know Alpine. I think it was like the V Power series or V12 series. They had a lot of amps like that, and 6 channels. That's pretty cool because then you can do pretty much everything. You have a lot of flexibility. That's awesome, Garrett. I know you're more into the home audio and stuff like that, and blowing up speakers, which is just awesome. You know, I don't enjoy blowing speakers because it's like, well, I can't use it anymore. But at the same time, it's something that's unique. It's like, well, there goes the life of that speaker. It's gone forever. And I just like your content, man. Thank you for tuning in again, man. VR3. Yep. That was the Walmart one. I remember those. Oh, we got a lot of comments here. I'm trying to get to them, guys. I still need to pull up all your comments from the post I made. Yes, the VR312 dub, the dub edition. Absolutely, man. Vegas says, my first amp was a Zed made Planet Audio. Okay, so that was before they switched to their little bit cheaper products. That's awesome, man. What should I do? Samuel Seal, what should I do for bass in a single cab Chevy? Whatever fits. You don't want to put a 15 back there and not have the recommended airspace for the enclosure for the type of sound you want to make with the driver that you have and its capabilities. So I would say maybe 210s, 212s, but in a long sealed box, something like that. Depends how much space you really physically have to give up and how much room you want to give your passenger. I know I put a 15 in the truck, but no one could really sit in the front seat. You were like this, so no good. So very important to figure out how much space you can give up. Hold on. El Fuego says, I had the Majestic 500 from a swap meet back in '89, bridged to a Rockstar 12, probably 100 watts max. Right, but you know what I mean? Back in '89, 100 watts was a lot of power. You know, 100 watts today, it's not that much power. But the woofers that they do design do require more, but if you go with a cheap subwoofer that doesn't require that much power, you don't need that much power, but then you might get a different sound out of that driver because of how it's designed to not need that much power. It might need a larger enclosure. And then just how speakers work, man. That's awesome. Got someone new here. Angela Lake Town. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, the Sherwood were pretty popular back in the day. Isn't that the flea market amp? Choke Change, thanks for tuning in, man. Rockford Fosgate Punch Power Series Amp 50M with 8 10-inch subs. Holy moly. You were just that one of those guys like I was, you know, just wiring up a bunch of speakers and just trying to make it loud. That's awesome. Lots of comments, trying to get through them here, guys. Brap. Let's see. You cannot boom at the old car section at Slamology if anyone knows that. Really? I'm sure they hear the bass anyway. Andrew, Harman Kardon, that's it. Same as my Buick did. Really thinking of getting those kickers sealed from Tint World in the pictures I sent you the other day. I have to look at that. I missed your message. Yeah, dude, I think that's what you kind of want. Just something to get a little bit of boom, but you don't want it to be stupid. You know what I mean? And to sound good with your existing system. Tom says, got that Scar Audio 1500.1 now. Just looking for some subs to hook it to. Nice. Yeah, I would go with some dual 4s. Maybe you could go with Scars. I think Evils might be too much. But it all depends your budget. Maybe the VVX, VXF, FVX. I don't know. I'm not a Scar guy. Something around 5 to 750 RMS, and I think you would be perfect with that. Let's see here. Got to throw up the super chats. Thank you, David. Appreciate you, buddy. Don't forget to hit the like, guys. I appreciate you guys because you really do smash that like button. I noticed on the last Kicker Unmasked after show I did, I had like 21 likes, and I'm like, holy moly. So like literally everyone that was watching, smash that like button, and I appreciate you guys' support, and you know how it helps the YouTube algorithm. And thank you, David. Appreciate you, buddy. Let's see. D4L 14.4 talk equals dominance. Uh-oh. What's going on here? Let me scroll up a little bit here. Yeah, you got to tag John in this. Tell him to say what's up. Oscar O'Brien. First amp Pioneer GM 5400T on 2 El Cheapo Kenwood 200 RMS 12s. System lasted me 2 weeks because I was young and dumb and cranked the gain. Right. Yeah, those Pioneer amps, I don't care if they're from Walmart, they actually dish out some decent power. And if you're not careful, you will clip those little 1.5-inch coils to death quickly. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, too, Tom. You know, Team SP Loud is going to be kicking off here soon. We're probably going to do the beginning of April. And then there's actually another show out in Middle PA out by Somerset, or not even Somerset, towards Harrisburg up by Altoona. We're going to be hosting too, but we're going to have our monthly shows as normal at Greensburg. What's going on, Devin Martinez? Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Okay, let me skip back down here. Wow, we got lots of comments. Thank you, guys. We got 33 people in here. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it, guys. Okay, Devin said, yo, Andy, finally metered the Tahoe. I'm hitting 145 on the windshield. Nice, dude. That's good, dude. Yeah, you had the 215s in the box meant for 4, that really big box. That's not bad, dude. That's not bad. For what you got, it's good. Evils are 2500 peak. Yeah, 1250 RMS. I think that's a little bit too much, but it would work. Oh, I don't think they're banned yet, man. Not yet. Troy, Mr. Alpine, what's going on, buddy? I went to Mad Jack's and researched gear for 2 months every weekend, so I learned about the swap meet gear ahead of time, fortunately. That's awesome. Thank you for tuning in, buddy. Bobby broke the... Oh, you're telling me, man, he just came out swinging. Whoosh. Damn. You know, you hear a lot about Scar, but they sell a lot of products. You type in 12-inch subwoofer, it's going to take you to Amazon or eBay, and you're going to see a Scar. So they sell some good products. I'm not saying that they're the best, highest quality or the best thing for the price, but they have their niche, just like a lot of brands do. Now you're good, man. What's going on, Basehead 30? If I had a speaker in the middle, or the... Well, I guess we could do the eyes, right? Let's see. Every comment. Love you, buddy. Thank you. Larry Keller, the first good amps I bought were two Crutchfield 50x4s and a 75x2 for my 1984 black and gold trans amp. Those were made by PPI in 89. See, that's crazy. A 50x4, and that was probably a really big amplifier back then. And that's all the power you really needed. And that's like, I feel like they had more 4 channels back then in a way, so that you could wire more than one sub and not have a too low of impedance, because I don't know if dual voice coils were even a thing at one time. So that might be a reason why. Well, I see we got 10 likes on Facebook too. That's awesome. Yeah, I stream this on Facebook, YouTube. If you're on Facebook, go jump on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, come hang out. It's a little bit easier to watch on YouTube than Facebook. But regardless, do what you want. Let's see here. Absolutely, Deviant. You've seen that in my Patreon post. If you haven't already, check it out. I got it in my community tab. Got my Patreon. Don't worry about it. You can if you want. Appreciate it. If not, no biggie. But I made a post there. You get to see content that I post ahead of time. I try to give you guys some good content, but I've just been, hemmed up recently. But as of now, I have some pretty cool stuff coming along the way, and I think you guys are going to like it. Thank you, Deviant. Guys are doing good, man. I appreciate you guys. I do. He said, turn down for what? No, I'm just kidding. What's going on, Vega? No 14.4 volt ban on my channel. Just a tone down request. He's telling you to turn your gain down. So if you guys start clipping too much, you know what's going to happen. All right, let's see here. Troy says, your video skills are definitely better. You're a pro now, buddy. I'm trying, man. With what I got, I'm trying. I appreciate that so much, man. RGA, you doing a podcast? More podcasts, the better. Oh, he said, oh, I'm clicking on double stuff here. I might. Has anyone used home amps in a car for big subs? Absolutely. I've done it once. I actually brought in a power converter and used my home system radio. I think it was the Philips or the Sony, and literally hooked up my Solo X and my small Solo X box from back in the day. But this was back in the day, and hooked it up because my radio, the speakers were going and stuff. So I just literally hooked up the Solo X to it and then had a home speaker. So it was literally being powered by a little 100 watt converter, and it worked. Do not suggest it. Well, we got a super chat here. El Fuego, who else? El Fuego says, I'm going to run power up my gold letter kicker 8s in a small sealed box. How many watts should I run? 75 to 150 each. Yeah, I mean, so they are literally gold letter kickers. So they're older speakers. They are not going to need a lot of power. If whatever the RMS it says in the manual, that's what you put, and you set it clean. And especially being 8s, you really don't need that much power. And in sealed boxes, just remember, you're going to get what you're going to get out of small speakers in a sealed box on low power, but it's going to sound good. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind on stuff whenever people say, oh, well, it's not that loud. Well, that's not really what it's designed for. It's not meant to blow your hair around. It's meant to fill in the low end of your stereo system. And that's what that's going to do. And I think it's going to sound good while you do it, man. All right, Garrett. I seen Garrett's comment here. Ooh, I hate these computer notifications about dumb stuff. Garrett says, wondering, have you ever seen Cliff Design? Someone gave me a 10-inch, looks like crap, but it's mint. Cliff Designs. I've never heard of that. If that's a car audio subwoofer, I'm guessing it's probably someone that got it, purchased on Alibaba, had their own brand put on it. Otherwise, I just never heard of it. I'll look into that. Cliff Designs. I'll remember that. I'll let you know, buddy. If it looks like crap, it might be from Alibaba. All right. Sir Sticky. What's going on, man? Thanks for tuning in. People say don't buy Scar, then buy mids that are exactly the same for double the price. Only difference is the dust cap. I'm guessing you're taking a shot at Sundown. And there's truth to that. And then there's, it really depends on some things, and some things that you can get a better deal and almost the same product for. So, and that's where experience comes into play and testing. And that's what's really cool about YouTube and what we do for the community. So we can test things for you so that you're not wasting your money and almost get an unbiased opinion on things. And that's hard to find too, because, how things are in life. So that's cool to know, So instead of getting said brand, I can just go and get some mids from Scar or PRV or DS18. And honestly, when it comes to systems like that, and they're really, loud speakers for 160 builds, you're not looking for SQ. So what are you looking for? You're looking for a speaker that's loud, that can take a lot of power, and it's going to fill up the sound so that your bass isn't drowning everything out. So thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate that. All kicker separates back then. Absolutely. Yo, Andy, after the live duet, my latest TikTok. I'll have to check it out. I haven't been on TikTok too much. Let's see. Deviant for Life says weekly PSA for Andy's channel. His Patreon starts at $1 a month. His live streams with us, chat interaction, all this at least twice a week. That's 12 cents a show. Go join now. Absolutely, man. Appreciate that plug. Holy crap, Keelan. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. How you been? Just here to support, man. Didn't know you started a podcast. Keep being great. Thank you, man. Keelan, old friend of mine from back when. Absolutely, man. Yeah, this is kind of what I do now. YouTube on the side. And, I've always been into car audio. Keelan, he used to be one of the guys that would get the demo of my car, my Cobalt, and, a little bit of the Eclipse, too. So, absolutely, man. Yeah, he's heard the Solo X. Love you too, man. Go Steelers. Thanks for tuning in, Keelan. All right. 25 says, can we stop reminding 14.4 volt talk to lower the gain? The message has been received. Too old to be talking down to. That's the end of it. Okay. End. What's going on, Mara? Thanks for tuning in. How you been? Oh, it's old school. See, I'm not old school. I'm only 31. I'm not that old yet. Yeah, it was a car sub, so odd. I'll have to look at that. Troy says they're nice. I'm guessing that Scar really that bad? No. I mean, it's not. It depends. It's like if you're trying to get something on a budget, it's going to fill that gap. It's going to help you out. It's going to get you, I'm not going to say more bass. Maybe not. It depends what you're comparing it against. But if you're on a budget, man, it's at least going to look like you're going to get more. I mean, they got some nice looking speakers. I'm not going to complain. They got some big surrounds that looks cool. Half of car audio is not just being loud. It's about looking loud too. You got to look the part. Unless you're just competing in the lanes, and who cares what you look like? So it's not that bad. Not one brand is just so bad, but for the price, you got to look at the price. with life, you know, there's things where you get what you pay for, period. 25 says, Andy, thoughts on O-Scope, the cheap ones like the $20? No, I've seen those from a few YouTubers, and I hate that they push them because they are not good. They will get you close, but so will tuning you by ear. Either grab a DD1 or grab an SPL lab that has a built-in O-Scope, or go out and buy an O-Scope. That's the only way you're actually absolutely going to know when you're clipping or not. Those little guys, they're not very accurate. Let me skip down here. Yo, I just noticed the new StreamYard bug in the top right. Oh, you like that? Way over here? Yeah. Oscar O'Brien says, all the Scar hate is starting to get old. LOL, I'm a sundown guy myself, but have installed a few Scar setups in friends' vehicles, and for what they are, they do perform. Absolutely, buddy. Now, what do you think about Boss Audio? Because I feel the same way. You know, for what you're paying to enter into car audio, you have to pay. Goes with like a lot of things. You know, if you put more money into something above that entry price, you're going to get something better. So, yes, dollar for dollar and performance per dollar, it might not equal, but to just get into it for some things, it's not bad. El Fuego goes, I chopped my cable bill and rerouted funds to my favorite YouTube channels. You know what? I'm about to do that too, man. Like literally just run the Roku and pay for my Wi-Fi, because that TV is expensive, man. It really is. Get some. Thanks for tuning in, man. Don't even get me started on that. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I'm just going to say no. Mar Urch, what's going on? Good. How are you and Kayla and the babies? We're doing a lot better now. Oakley's got this weird cough when he's sleeping. You know, I think it's just drainage. But other than that, we're doing really good, and can't complain. We're going to, this weekend, I'm actually going to go to my sister's, you know, Brandy, and we're going to go there so we can finally celebrate Christmas with my parents and them, and then hopefully Monday go to Kayla's side. We still haven't done that yet. Terrible. Now you just need a good solder. I have a good solder now. I'm okay at it. I'm not no professional. I want to get one of those. I think you're as good as the tool. I want to get one of those nice solder suckers and solder, you know, you know, like they do both. I really want one of those. Come on, Deviant. I think this is the gain we're talking about here. But you know what? They are back in stock. Garrett says, I've been tempted to try Scar. They do look nice. Right. And that's the thing. And that's where it's marketing does its job. And it's not like they won't take rated power. You know, like if it says 600 watts, it's going to take 600 watts. But then if you compare that to a Kicker, a Rockford, a JL, an Alpine, RMS for RMS, that's where you have to look at the TS specs and the enclosure and the performance of the overall driver. They're not as efficient. They're not going to be. You know, whenever you're giving up price, you're going to give up something else. You're either going to give out performance or quality. You know, you can't have everything. You can't have your cake and eat it too. So there's always that. But you know what? I really think, other than Scar, I really don't want to buy Scar products. I had a Scar RP2K. I traded it for a CX 1800 kicker amp. I just didn't want it. But I wanted to test it or use it for something. But I really want to see someone or myself use Boss equipment. You know, I've seen Parker. He did one with the Walmart Jensen subwoofers and stuff like that. But I want to see it with Boss audio. You know what I mean? Come on, like a Boss. Nose is still a little bit. Ah, there we go. It's hard going streaming for like three hours straight, but I enjoy it. We haven't been 3 hours yet, but we will. We're going long tonight. We're going to have some fun. I still need to get to the YouTube comments of your first amps. We're just having a lot of people in the chat, and we're having fun, so why not? Blaupunk used to be good in the back. Used to be good back in the day. Absolutely, man. They've been around for a long time. Same thing with like Dole. Dole's been around forever. What's going on, Joe? You better be coming out to Team SP Loud this year, bro. Miss you, man. SJC, that O-Scope multimeter DIY looks decent. I mean, you got to watch with the cheapos. If you buy the nice ones, they cost $200-$300, then yeah, it's probably an accurate O-Scope. For $20-$40, I don't think so. Not sure who you are, but thank you for tuning in. Boss is cool. How do you get free TV and internet? Come on, man. Wow, we got almost 40 people in the chat. This is awesome. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Like I said, I like doing these live streams. And, now we're doing it every Friday. And now it's going to be like, we might as well go live after the Kira on Mass show, and why not? So, and you guys keep coming on. More people coming. I'll keep doing it. It's fun. Yeah, if you guys got any questions, let me know. I'm here. JVC sold out in the early 2000s. I'm not surprised. JVC and, there's another. I think JVC and Kenwood are under the same people, I believe. Got lots of comments here. Hold on. Yes, I love Boss. Come on, man. William, thank you for tuning in, man. Fellow Patreon supporter here, your content is awesome. People like you, it's why I do what I do, man, and I appreciate you for being a Patreon. If you got a Facebook, man, you got to reach out to me. I think you do. El Fuego says, the JP95 looks nice and performed well in Big D Dyno. I bought one for my new build. We will see. Ooh, I want that. That's the 5-channel red big surfboard amp. I was thinking about grabbing that. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab it down for Sound Amp, but they got some new ones coming out. We'll see what happens. But I really like that JP95. I think that is awesome. Absolutely. Jeff Senecal says you can find people that use Boss back in 1989, 93, etc. Absolutely, man. I wouldn't say they were a dominant force, but they were definitely known back then for sure, man. Russians, Andy. Devin says, Andy, what's your opinion on the old 450.5 Alpine? I never had one of those. I have the MRP series, the F series. I love Alpine, man. I did. Garrett says, you got the Covey, Kenny, and Omegatron. Yeah, I had that. December 20th until, man, it just lingered forever, and it's like, I got allergies, but like, it's like drainage that isn't allergies, and it just lingers and lingers and lingers and lingers forever, man. But we were hemmed up for 2 weeks solid. It was bad. RGA says, appreciate it, Andy. Good place to chill for me. Right. And that's what I want to. I want to be able to, so you guys can sit on your phone, sit on your TV, have your phone out, comment and enjoying the show, whatever you're doing. And let's talk about car audio, hear about me talk about other people's car audio stuff. And I like doing the same thing. So it's like, well, why can't I just do that for other people? And here we are. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Appreciate you. Targa is better than Boss. I've heard of Targa, but I've never seen one. Marcio Ramio says first amp was a 2500 watt Planet Audio. Never gave out on me, no complaints. Right, and that's the thing with like the cheap amps, Planet Audio, Boss Audio, and I'm trying to think of another one. SSL amps, Cole Audio. Yeah, they don't do rated, but for the price point, it's like they're almost dummy proof. They're really strong. Yeah, if you wire it really low, run it at 10 volts for like 2 hours, yeah, it's probably gonna give out. But for the price you're paying and the quality you're getting, man, sometimes with a Terra amp, you put too much pre-out voltage to it, poof, it goes. Too low voltage, poof, it goes. You know, and you're paying a lot of money, but you're getting a lot of power for cheap. So it always goes hand in hand, like anything. El Fuego says, O-Scope, I have the Velleman HP S50, and it is decent for the basics. Same one Big D used. Right, that's the one I'm thinking of, because he did use that before he got the 81, and before he got... I think he had the Steve Meade one that clamps. I'm not sure. I know he had that O-Scope one, and then he would just do the math, and it pretty much did it for him on that thing, which was really cool. Let's see. Boss globally sells more than any other. I believe it, man. That and Dole, they're out there, dude. Garrett says, I've heard people just get the mad crabs from COVID. Yeah, I was okay on that department. I lost a little bit of taste. I mostly had a fever, cough, and not so much drainage. The first day, it was just dry. It was like a desert. It was terrible. Cannot confirm nor deny. But he's doing okay, I will say that much. I can't say anything more. Andy, I'm Jay. You're Jay. What's up, Jay? No, I'm just kidding. Oh, jeez. Did I miss a comment or something? Okay. Anyway, let's see here. Chris Physique. Sundown NS V5 is a beast, and the Crescendo BC 4K on good voltage is slamming, and I've been waiting to upgrade the amp, but it's been such a good amp, I don't want to give up on it yet. Right, and I like Crescendo. I've always wanted a BC 5K. Right. I always wanted one of those. Let's see, slamming, been wanting to upgrade, but right, and I'm trying to think. I mean, how's your enclosure? Maybe try tweaking things with the enclosure so you don't have to add more power. Adding power isn't the only answer. Let's see here. Jeff Senecal, most of the cheaper stuff in car audio comes from the same 5 or 6 build houses. Right. They have different options, quality levels, and packaging. Look, stats, and designs. Absolutely. You're dead on about that. You're dead on. I know I seen a post today where someone can buy an Orion. It looks just like it. Motor basket. In the sub, it just doesn't say Orion off Alibaba, you know, and make it your own brand. So there's, right. What's going on, RVH? Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Oscar says, speaking of Terrams, how do you feel about the stuff Kevin Kruger exposed about their build quality? I've heard of his name, and I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised for the amount of power you're paying for a Terramp and how much you're paying and how much power you're getting. You can't complain. Go buy a higher quality amplifier for a lot of money and get less power, or the same power and you're paying a crap ton. But you're going to get something that's going to last, and the build quality is going to be good. So what is worth more? Your so-called build quality or your power for how much you're paying? It all depends who you are, your build, and how much you trust yourself and how you run your equipment. You can run the cheapest crap in the world. Yes, it could be a manufacturer defect, but if you run it correctly as it should, you won't have a problem. A lot of stuff is user errors. Yo, what's up, Sudsy? Yo, you got a great thing going on here, Andy. Keep up the great work, man. I've known Sudsy all my life, man. And wrestling, football, we did it all, man. How you been, man? Miss you. Haven't seen you in a good while, and I appreciate you tuning in, and thank you for that comment, man. Let's see here. I had to throw that up. Joe says, Audio Bond was my first two 1600s on 2 Sony Explode 12s. That's awesome. Audio Bond, I love Audio Bonds. I used to have the 10s. I had one of the amps, the Flame series. Cool stuff. And Sony Explodes. You can't go wrong with them. Choke Chain says, I had a couple of old school squared off Kicker tube 8-inch decades ago, I think. That's pretty cool. I know Kicker has the tubes. I don't know if they had squared ones, or actually, maybe they did. They did. Absolutely. The older ones. Larry Keller says, I had a Pile propylene 12-inch sub back in 1988, sounded nice and deep in a 1.5 cubic foot sealed box, but would bottom out with over 100 RMS. Yeah, I mean, the box isn't too big for a 12, so maybe it was just a loose suspension is why you were bottoming out, playing too low, playing below the frequency of the enclosure. The sealed enclosures have tuning too, so if you play too low, it'll move more, and that's what happens. No matter the power, you can have a little bit of power and still over excurge or bottom out a subwoofer. And we had almost over 30 people, 35 people plus this whole time. This is awesome. Thank you guys for sticking around. Let's see. Got lots of comments. I don't want to lose some of them. I know we got some yams here. Let's see. RGA spitting the truth. Having realistic expectations and a base of usable knowledge is most valuable in this hobby. Absolutely, man. It's worth more than anything. Andy, next amp you gonna dyno? Good question. I know I got this other project that I'm gonna start on very soon. But the next amplifier, I need to do the dual one because we did the dual video with the bandpass plexi light up box dual illuminite series, but we never dynoed the amp. We clamped it, but we didn't actually dyno it at its lowest impedance of what it's stable at. So maybe that'll be the next one, Bobby. Marcelo says, what amp do you recommend to run on my two L515 or two L512s? Well, it depends if they're dual 4s or dual 2s. So you would either need a 1 ohm stable amplifier or a 2 ohm stable amplifier. If they're dual 2s, you need a 2 ohm stable amplifier, unless you wire down a half, which I don't suggest, and unless you know what you're doing. And if you have dual 4s, you'll need a 1 ohm stable amplifier. And by doing so, the 12 L5s have 500 RMS, I believe, or 600 RMS, and so you would need a 1200 RMS amp. I would suggest a CX 1200.1, a KX 1200.1. Both, I think, if you get the older CX, it's 2 ohm stable. The 43 series, the 46 is 1 ohm stable. So it all depends, and your budget. Let me know. I'll try to get back to that question there. Oscar says, very valid point on running it right, though. I don't remember his name, but there's a guy running 5 explodes doing 150s. I know who you're talking about. It's 4 12s, the red Sonys, and he's doing like a 51. I forget his name. I've been following him on Facebook, chat here and there. He has the Taco Bell truck. Looks like the old Taco Bell cup. Let's see. Josh Kinsley says, I absolutely love the CXA 1200.1. Just wanted to chime in, have the CX 600, and it's 9 years old and still putting in work. That's awesome, man. Thanks for tuning in, and great products. Can't complain, man. That's awesome. Joe says, need to get my SoundCube 10s installed this summer. Haven't been around for a few years. Sold the truck. Oh, no. And it's set up. Missed the shows. You, sir, came a long way from when we met. Congratulations on the success. Thank you, man. It really means a lot from people that know where I started from in the beginning, man. And I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, we definitely have to meet up for sure, dude. It's sad about the truck, but you know what? Nothing lasts forever. Thanks for tuning in, man. Hold on. Oh, here we go. The Daily Bench says, came from Garrett's post. Love to see people here. Thanks for tuning in. Garrett's that dude, man. Andy, kicker amp dyno next, please. Okay, Bobby, since you said it, I do have a kicker amp to dyno. I have a kicker, I think it's an IX. It's a small one. I got it on where I get my amps for barely anything, for like $20. We'll do that one next. It's an old school one. I think it's an IX325 or something like that. It's a 2-channel. Nothing crazy. Biggest thing in car audio is do not clip. Right. Andy, have you heard of the NVX amp supposed to be good? Absolutely, man. Good quality for the price you're paying, and I never had one personally, but I've seen people, Rob and them and other people, test them and run them through the gate. And Brad, he's real big on the NVX. Good stuff. Deviant says, become an Andy Patreon and watch the video watch what the next video is going to be. I'm freaking pumped for it to drop. Absolutely, man. It's going to be clickbaity, but it's going to be the good clickbaity. It's like, I want to watch this. I want to see what happens. It's going to be that good. Jason, thanks for tuning in, buddy. Hey, bro, it's been a long time, but here's my question. What are your thoughts on CT Sounds 2000.1? Going to be doing 2 sets strapped to Scar Audio 12s, XVF, dual 4s, and a 6-order, tuning 26 to 51. Sounds like a good deal, man. Maybe a little bit more power. That would be my only thing that I would tell you to do. Maybe a little bit more power because you're going to be running a 6-order, just because that's what you got going on. And 2000.1, you're going to get 1,000, maybe a little bit more power out of that, unless you wire down to the dirt, and then your stuff might not last as long. So you don't really want to do that. What are the XVFs rated at RMS-wise? 1,000? You could probably go a little bit more, being that it's in a bandpass enclosure. Just got to keep your gain set. It's better to have more power than you need than not enough. That's the big key on a lot of this stuff. Mic drop. Clipping is the enemy of speakers. Absolutely. All right. RVH says, Andy, promise us no matter how big you get, keep it fun and light, never take it too seriously. Right. And that's kind of how I try to keep it, honestly. And every step of the way, it seems to get easier, more loose in a way rather than uptight and trying to be perfect and everything. But appreciate it, man. Bobby B, dropping bombs. Andy went kicker and never looked back. I've tried other stuff. Nothing crazy, but, testing or mostly seeing what other people do with it. Running the lanes for Team SP Loud and designing boxes for people, and a lot of time on my hands. I've learned a lot about a lot of other products just in kicker. But I love kicker, man, and I feel like I know how to build their enclosures very well. I've only built a few of my own personal ones, but I've designed a lot. Garrett says, my man used to rock a Honda Civic hatchback, 100 watt amp or 100 watt Alpine 12, and the box took up the whole truck. The amp was super small, would fit in your hand, but that thing would pound and was tuned very well. Right, you can get a lot of SPL out of a system just by having a very large enclosure. And if that woofer is designed, it's lightweight, loose suspension, stuff like that, it's going to do really well in a large enclosure. And that's why it sounds really good and really loud for what it is, especially being on a small amp. You'd be surprised. I know, honestly, my system is kind of like the pinnacle of it, because I'm doing a 50 at 32 hertz on 1800 watts whenever everything's running like it should. Obviously, I have some hiccups along the way, but being able to float hair under 2000 watts and 118, it really comes down to the design, the vehicle, the airspace, all that kind of stuff, and you can get away with a lot. That's what I kind of did. I didn't have much power. I had a KX2400. Actually, I had a Shark 3500, and that's all I had. And the only reason I got the KX2400, I put that Shark 3500 on the Cookie Monster box, gave it a couple demos. Let's just say 14 hertz, a Shark amp does not like. And if your electrical is not perfect, it will blow, and that's what happened. So, but anyway, I didn't have much power to deal with. I was clamping 1400 watts the old box. So I'm like, I only have about 1500, maybe 2000 watts to deal with. I want to be able to float babies. You know what I mean? So I just built a very large box. And when you build a very large box, yes, you can get more output, but you're going to get a lot more lower output because the box is larger. So there's so many factors, but absolutely, man. Thanks for commenting, man. I know you're a busy guy too, doing all kinds of stuff. Let's see here. Lots of comments. What I'm gonna probably do after I answer a few of these, we gotta get to the YouTube stuff. There's just so many comments. We're having a good time, man. Dan Sudsy says, this is all gibberish to me, but do speakers have a break-in period? That is a very large myth and truth at the same time. What you kind of want to do when you get a subwoofer, it's like buying a car. Yes, they have a break-in period, but can you drive the car without breaking it in? Sure. Now, can you drive it a million miles an hour and redline it? It's not really the best thing to do, and that's the same thing with the woofer. And with woofers like subwoofers that are tighter suspension, I don't want to go too over your head here, but like the bigger woofers, they're going to have a tighter suspension. So it's going to take a longer time for that suspension to loosen up a little bit. So you kind of want to break them in a little bit longer compared to a Kicker, a Dual, a Jensen, a Rockford Fosgate. They got a little bit lighter suspension. Yes, they're tighter when they're brand new, like anything, but they will break in. But honestly, what's going to happen is why people say break-in subwoofers is because of heat. When a woofer isn't moving as much as it should, when it's broken in, it will not move as much. So what happens is the woofer naturally cools by the movement of the woofer, the air passing the coil back and forth. So if it's moving less, guess what? You have less cooling. So then your woofer heats up, your motor gets hot, your coil gets hot. Next thing you know, your coil's done. So that's why there's a myth of, oh, you got to break it in. You can't just send it. Yes and no. Don't be an idiot about it, but just play your system, man. Just don't crank it full tilt for, the first 3 minutes of its life. Walk into it, turn it up. Oh, that sounds good. Give it a little crank. Oh, that sounds really good. Let me back it off a little bit. We'll just bang it, 3/4 volume. That sounds pretty good. I know it's got more, but these are brand new. I'm going to wait a couple of days. They're going to be broken in. And you will see even down the road, about a year later, your subs are actually going to get naturally louder in most situations because they're going to break in even more. The suspension's going to get looser from you playing like this, 10 hertz, 15 hertz, whatever you do. The speaker's going to break in even more, and it's going to get louder on less power in the right box. And that happens a lot. Truth. Try to stay down here for you, Dan. Bobby B says, Andy, I can't wait to see what the SPL lanes do when Kicker L7X subwoofer drops. Dude, it's going to be nice. And the beginning's going to be crazy, but wait, there's more. All right, let's see. The Daily Bench says, I have a JBL Bass Pro 12-inch. It's 150 RMS peak. 150 RMS peaks 350 watts max, but I doubted the 350 watts. Anyhow, is it good enough for me and doesn't strain my electrical system and flexes my roof? Right. I mean, honestly, the JBLs, they're pretty efficient drivers too, especially if it's 150 RMS. It's probably got an 1.5 inch coil, 2 inches tops, propylene surround, one spider, soft, and it's not going to take much power. So, and you have a 150 RMS speaker, all you're going to need is 150 to 250 RMS amplifier, and you're going to be golden, and it's going to flex your roof a little bit. RG, when you've been around the block enough, you know what's up. Absolutely. Deviant says, I need a new hobby. Now I only work on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday after my real job. You funny, bro. Josh Kinsley says, yes. Can a box be too big? Yes. Once you get too big, as in just the natural airspace of the enclosure or the port's too big, and then it's not loading right because of just how the enclosure is compared to the port, the tuning, all that fun stuff. What you run into is the woofer almost acts like it's in free air, and you lose not so much sound. You can, because you're not rarefying or rectifying pressure the way you normally would in a right size enclosure. But what happens is you're solely relying on the mechanical part of the woofer, the spider, the surround, to keep everything linear and straight and not from flying out of the basket and motor. So whenever you're doing that, that's what happens, because you don't have any pressure being generated in the enclosure. The enclosure actually fights the woofer from moving. You know what I mean? That's literally what it does. And that's where box rise happens, because the box rise is the resistance. And whenever you have a very efficient enclosure, the resistance is higher and your power is less, but you're pretty loud. That's a whole nother ballpark. We don't need to go down that, but that's pretty much, yes, the box can be way too big. Absolutely. Then you have to look at it as, I might as well build an infinite baffle setup and then design properly that way, because you can have IB, infinite baffle, or free air setups where you're using just the trunk of your enclosure, or the trunk of your vehicle as your enclosure, in a sense. All right, let's see here. Got lots of comments. Let me, Aaron T, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. Andy, do you know anything about 6-order boxes? A little bit, enough, not enough to, say I know everything about them, but honestly, it's 2 ported enclosures. You have your small ported side with your low port area, low tune, and then you have your second chamber or your second ported box, and that's usually bigger, and with a port that's a lot bigger and tuned a lot higher. Now, what do you want to know about them? Let me know. Okay. Got lots of comments here, guys. Okay. Well, since I'm almost caught up on the comments, I'm never going to be entirely caught up on the comments. Let's go check out what you guys had to say about your first car audio builds. Do I have this right? Let me make sure I got this right. Yeah, we're good. Okay, cool. Can't see your comments. I turned off the computer screen, but let's start at the bottom here, because I said, what was your first amplifier? All responses will be read out on tomorrow's live. I want to hear your story. So let's go to the very first. Jay Welsh says that Jay Welsh 1238 says he had a 80-watt Frontier, bought it at Sears in 1993. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's a long time to have to buy your first amp, 1993, man. And at Sears, I mean, yeah, they sell stuff at Walmart, but they used to sell stuff at Sears, Target, and other places, I assume. So that's really cool. Deviant 14.4 volt talk, Alpine 3542, bought it from a girlfriend's brother. Well, that's pretty cool. It's like, hey, bro, you like bass? Yeah, man, let me grab that amp. That's awesome, man. Thank you for your comment. James John commented, Kenwood KAC 7201, 800 watts on 2 Kicker Comp 12s in a sealed box. Haha, but I love that Kenwood. Wish I still had it, man. I wish I still had my Kenwood too, because it's been a while since I've had my Kenwoods. I had them forever, back in 2000 and what was it? 2008 I had it since, and then 2 years ago got stolen, both of them. Very sad story. We'll get to more of those in a second. Let me check the comments real fast here. Bobby B says, Annie, can I get recones for the Serwin Vega 12-inch forum? They're like 25 years old. I know where to get the surrounds, but the speaker and the coil, I could try. I know there's a few places you can look around, but not Serwin Vega particularly. I'd have to let you know. Let's see. Choke Chain says, could they make an L7X quad box, and what numbers do you think it would get? Absolutely. And shoot, you would just need a lot more power for it, but it would have, I'm just going to take a random average guess. It's going to take more power. And it might have a little bit more bandwidth, and it's going to play a little bit lower for sure. Maybe 54s, 55s, but maybe at a little bit lower frequency, depending how they build the enclosure. I can't. All right. Well, we've been on here for an hour already. Awesome. All right, let's get back to these here. Let's check them out. Audio Dad, thank you for your comment. Says Rockwood detonator model number amp 225, 100 watt amp 2 channel on 2 Jensen 100 watt 6x9s, all max power ratings, of course, in the year 96 in my first car. A 1990 Chevy Corsica bumping. Man, that was a mouthful Thank you for your comment. Rockwood, that is awesome. Because I think Derek did a video with a Rockwood. Or well, that was Kingwood. That was Kingwood. My bad. That's awesome, man. That sounds like some old school stuff. 1996 in your 90 Corsica. That is awesome. Thank you for your comment. SJC Audio says, my first set of amps was a hodgepodge. I had a Denon 3120, 20 by 2, running some Cliff design tweets, ran the mids off head unit, a pair of L Sound Cube mids, and a Majestic 150 by 2, running a pair of Urban Audio 12s, later upgraded to 2 CV Stealth 15s. I managed to hit 132 Bs. Oh, and a pair of Krakos 6x9s off a head unit. Man, that's crazy. You guys are really going, all in whenever you're building your system. You're not skimping out. Whenever I had my first system, I literally just had a Lightning Audio 10 and a Jensen 1150M 340 watt amp from Target. The sub was from Walmart. It was it was a mutt. And I didn't have anything power in my head unit. I had a stock inline converter. I had nothing crazy, but I had bass. I really wanted bass. All right. Let's see. We got comments. A couple here. Hi-Fi Vega says, I'm watching the TV while I work. That's the best way to do it, Vega. Thank you for tuning in, man. 25 says, time flies here, an hour. I know already. We are booking, but I started early, so we're good. Maybe we can go an extra 10 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. We'll see. Hey, if you guys are watching, I'll keep going, but Deviant for Life says, the first kicker on Mass was so long I built a shed while watching it. That's impressive. And that was a very long show. It was like 5.5 hours. Let's see. Okay, cool. Well, might as well get back to this since we're caught up on the comments here. Let's see. DIY Audio Guy. Justin says, Sherwood 2 channel. Don't remember the model number. That's awesome. Sherwood, Kingwood, Rockwood. All great amps. Aaron Giles is 2 Alpine MRV 1000 amps pushing 2 Atomic HPW 1599s. I know MRVs, MRPs, Alpines, they're great amps. I never heard of the sub. I'm not sure. Jeff Huntington, Kicker X100, running 410-inch gray solos and a standard cab Ranger. It pounded. It was in the mid-90s in high school. Fun times, having the loudest ride. I just got back into car audio because of my 16-year-old son, and I'm impatiently waiting on the release date of the Solo X. Yeah, the release date of the Solo X should be very soon. I'm going to say, well, they say Q1, Q2. As long as everything goes to plan, you'll see it probably early spring, middle spring, late spring. That's my guess. Hopefully that comes out and we can get our hands on it and we can test them. I will be one of the first to know when it's released, and you will know too, as long as I'm allowed to tell you. And that will be an amazing day. An amazing day. Get the grammar right. Any backwoods. Absolutely. I know. Kayla gonna kick my butt if I go too long. Well, see, what happens is I could cut it now and then she might still be up, but she likes to go to bed like 10:30 because Oakley gets fussy. You know how kids are, babies and stuff like that. So, and then usually when I'm done, she's sleeping, Bryson's sleeping, and then I have nothing to do. It's like, do I go live on TikTok? No, I'm not gonna go live on TikTok. I got stuff I gotta do. I gotta do some free air testing. I'm probably going to do that. I just need to do it. My first amplifier, real car or RC car? Ooh, you had an amp in an RC car? That's crazy. Larry says Sherwood was a real company sold by Crutchfield, not junk like the imposters. Oh, that's pretty cool. Now I know. Tony Deal, thanks for tuning in, man. 50.2 Rockford amp on a Solo Barrack 12. Wow, that's pretty cool. Was that the old school Rockford Fosgate ones? Not the Punch series, but after that. And I bet you that got down, dude. You probably bridged that thing and 100 RMS at 4 ohms or whatever it was. And I bet you that got down for sure. Ooh. Sherwood 240 for the win. All right, let's go back to the comments. Okay, 25 Hertz says, boss, what else? Here, let me zoom in on this. There we go. Now you guys can see a little bit better, huh? There we go. Yeah, there we go. Can you guys see a little bit better now? Okay. Raul Ranos Rulies 254 says, Planet Audio 1900 by 1, the silver one. I know what you're talking about. I think that's early to mid 2000s that amp came out. And they actually weren't that bad. That's like the same amp that Thomas Weringer had, his 2500. Jeff Senecal, I think he's still on the stream here. He has a 2000, or his first amp was a 2000 MTX RT 2200 on 212-inch Aurora subs JVC head unit in his 95 Eclipse. Literally rode thunder, especially for an 18-year-old. Those Eclipses get loud, and you had a 95, that's the best kind, man. On 212s and a hatchback, on 2,000 watts, real watts on an MTX, that's not bad at all, man. That's going to get down for sure. Let's see here. Crutchful catalogs were eye candy. Absolutely, man. I wish there was more of that kind of stuff. You know, back to the nostalgia, the stories, the illustrations. Now it's just all social media and advertisement. It's kind of changed. It's sad, but you know what? That's why the good times are the good times. Do you know what I mean? RGA says, I think you're 3 hours ahead of me. Oh, you see my time. Yeah, you're probably California or something like that out by Troy. Yeah, I'm out in good old Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Them Yinzers. Samuel C's first amp was a Kicker CX 600.1. That's pretty cool, man. That is awesome to know. Gary Turner says, first was a Pyramid 300-watt power booster in 92 to 93. Had it in an 88 S10. Single cab pushing a pair of Pyramid Super Pro 10s. It wasn't bad, but I swapped it out with a Boss AVA 300M. A few months later, Boss was actually a decent product back then. After that, I ended up with Acoustic 260U and a pair of first-gen PAL New Waves 10s. I like those New Waves. Those are pretty cool. I've seen 18s. They actually aren't that bad. And then they were swapped for a pair of Blancpain BP10s, then to a first-gen Kicker Impulse 15. The acoustic got stolen in the 95, so I purchased a Kicker ZR120. I kept that system till 97. I sold the S10 and got an 87 S10 Blazer. Then it just escalated from there. Dude, that's literally how most bass heads stories are. Minus the, stolen part, because that doesn't always happen to everybody. But at the same time, like you start with something and you upgrade, you want more, and then the next thing you know, you got this loud system, your trunk's rattling, but it sounds good, and that's the point that we need to get at. But I like the system, man. It's crazy. Especially for back then, too. Oh, thanks, Sandy, but the MXRT 2200 amp is only rated at 200 watts. That's malarkey, okay? It says 2200, so it does 2200 watts. I ain't changing my story. Okay, back to the comments. Thank you, Gary Turner, for your comment. Jason Stokes says he has an Optimus 340 4-channel, or had. This is his first amp. 344 channel, along with an Optimus tape deck and 4 6x9s behind the seat of a single cab S10.2 pair of Fultron tweets. Man, oh man, them were the days. Absolutely, man. I mean, it sounds like you had the whole deal for your truck, and especially in a single cab, that's going to be really loud for when that was and what it was. Chris Hines, or C. Hines, I'm guessing your name's Chris, probably not. Punch 60 DSM, running 3 8W6s. I still have the amp in storage. That's awesome. I wish I had my first amp. Honestly, I think I gave it away. I know I gave away my first sub to Anthony Belismo, and he says he lost it. My first amp, I have no idea. I know it never went, though. I just upgraded to a Kenwood 9103D. And that's when I started blowing subwoofers. Jam210, thanks for tuning in. It was 1993. I was 13 years old, and my dad bought me an Alpine amplifier, 30-watt 2-channel, 30 watts each. In our car, it was hooked up to a 10-inch Jensen in the toolbox. I hooked it up, bridged it to 80 watts, and it was loud. I was so proud of that amplifier. We ended up getting rear-ended, and it was destroyed like the car. Man, that's a shame. I had that amp hooked up all wrong, and it would get so hot, but it never died. That was a testament to Alpine's quality in those days. Absolutely, man. And I feel like Pioneer is literally like the same way. You can bridge their AB amps at 2 ohms bridged, and you're like barely rising to 4 on crappy electrical. And it's going to get hot, but it ain't going to shut off. It's going to keep on going for sure. Let's see. We got some comments here I want to get to. What is going on in the comment section? RVH says, Andy, have you been to Berg's Pizza yet? Don't know what you're missing. No, but I went to Papa John's the other week for the first time ever, and it's the best pizza. Pizza, better ingredients. Papa John's. Let's see. How's the music sound, guys? Not too loud in the background, right? It's okay? Let's see. All the old school. Okay. A deer says, I still have a pair of Iowa SX WNA 555s. Best pizza, Papa John's. It's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's good. All right, let's finish these comments, and then we can go back to just what you guys have to say, and we'll go from there. JL Audio 86. My first amplifier was a JL Audio XD 6600 1V3 mono block running two 12-inch subwoofers, W3 V3 at 2 ohms. Now I have an XD 1001 V3 running two 8-inch subwoofer scars at 270 watts each on a 1 cubic foot each sub at 43 hertz. Soon I'll buy two 10-inch JL Audio subwoofers. Sounds like you like JL Audio like I like Kicker, and that is awesome, man. Stay with what you believe in. And you can always try other stuff too, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that's always a thing. Awesome, man. That is cool. And I love JL too. I have W3s. I have they're actually Kayla's. That was her first setup. Her first setup was two JL Audio W3 V2s on an Alpine MRP 500 wired at 1 ohm. And it's a pretty nice setup. In a sealed enclosure too. And the hatchback of her Eclipse. I still have it. I won't let go of it. That's her first system, and I wish I still had mine. Yeah, now she's upgraded to pretty much the test vehicle / I got at least 1,000 to 2,000 watts, if not more, on tap whenever I'm ready. She's got a 15 in there, L7, L5 actually. Ucourt01, thank you for your comment, man. My dad gave me his old Cadence A7HC. It was a beast. You know what? Cadences are nice. My buddy, Anthony's buddy, actually had a Cadence amp. It was a big old surfboard looking thing, man, and it looked like it had some power. It was a 4-channel, and I think it was 1 ohm stable on each channel. That's how a lot of 4 channels back then were. They were stable at 1 ohm, like the Pioneer I used for the old school SPL challenge. Wanamaker Enterprises, my first amplifier was a Kicker ZR120. I used it to power two 12-inch Orion XTR subs in a bandpass box. I built for my Jeep Cherokee. I had 2 sets of Kicker coaxials for my mids and highs running off an old Alpine 4-channel. Man, I miss the old days. Don't we all, man? Thank you for your comment, man. That is awesome. I love those ZR amps. They're really nice. William Nategate NG Ngate, William Ngate Technology.com. That's William. Thank you for your comment, man. Autotech BTS 7100, which is still in my 78 Z28. I still own it and have a running pair of Pile new Wave Pile new wave. I like those pile waves. 12-inch infinite baffle subwoofers mounted in my rear deck. That is awesome, man. I love infinite baffle setups, and that is so cool that you still have it and it's still running. That is awesome, dude. Arnold Moreno, Kenwood KC5001 PS, ran some older 12-inch comp bars, and I bet you that's slam, dude. I bet you that's slam. 500 RMS at 2 ohms or something like that. It's going to work, man. Haha, so notorious 327. My first real amp was an Alpine MRV M100 monoblock amplifier, powerful little amp, flea market buy. That is awesome. The M100, is that really the 100 watt or is that really the 1000 watt MRV? You'll have to let me know if you're watching this. Beaten NCP93, Sherwood BP series, SCP 802 BP. My Pop's beat from when he installed it in the truck he gave me. His truck is an 85 Toyota Helix. Hold on, we got to talk about that 85 Helix. Did y'all watch the Whistling Diesel series about the Toyota Helix? If you haven't, you got to watch it. It's amazing. Here, me check some of the comments. I can't see the comments because whenever I was running the TV last time, it was glitching out the live stream, and I don't want that. So I'd rather miss the comments and still be able to do everything. So there's that. Don't got enough CPU usage here. Thank you, Justin, DIY audio guy, for tuning in, man. Appreciate it. All right, cool. Cool, not too many comments. I'm not missing out too much. Good. Okay, because I'm going through this stuff. Let's see. Justin says, I don't miss the old days. I was broke as heck and I couldn't afford my audio gear. Right, dude. You know, I started out at 15, you know, so didn't really have that much money then. Some people, they just start out whenever they make, you know, 50, 60,000 a year, and then they can go dump 5-6 grand on a system. And it's like, whoop, no problem. Or it's just, you know what I mean? All right, cool. Let's get back to the comments. Okay. Chris Pittman says kicker 400.1. That's awesome. I wonder if that was the definitely an older one. 400.1. That could be a CX. That could be a not a DX. KX. Could be a few things. Get Some says Lancer 50 from 1989. Lancer's been around for a long time too, man. You can't be sleeping on them. And they make some really, I guess, okay, cheap entry line subwoofers for like $30, man. You can't beat it. And that's all of them. I'm happy we got through them all. And shoot, man, that was awesome. I appreciate you guys, you know, commenting on those things. You know, I feel like it's like something that we can talk about whenever the conversation's going slow, but it's like, man, the conversation was going fast, and it's like I have to slow down for this. So either way, I appreciate you guys for those comments and stuff like that. So if you guys got any other questions, or if you guys want to talk more about other stuff, I'm here to listen. RVH says Bean makes you learn. Bean, I'm guessing cheap. Makes you learn. No, Bean makes you learn to make cheap stuff sound better than it should. Right. And that's where build kind of trumps brand in a way, because not entirely, but you can make something sound really good, no matter the quality. Not saying it's going to sound as good as something that has better quality, but you can still make it sound good. You know, not like, man, that sounds like donkey. You know, that's bad. You can make it actually sound pretty good. And I love doing that stuff. Let's see. RGA used to make $100K a year. What'd you do? That Cool 9, thanks for tuning in, man. First amp was a Legacy Predator LA968. Wow, that's awesome. I don't know if I've ever heard, I think I've heard of Legacy amps, but I have to refresh my memory. El Fuego says, Andy, thinking of using my bass guitar to power car audio subs in my home office. What do you think? Good YouTube video? You could. I'm trying to think. I don't see a problem with it. You would just have to maybe convert, if it doesn't have it already, a different kind of headphone jack, so you can play music through it rather than one of those big jacks, those 1/4-inch jacks. Yeah, dude, absolutely. You could definitely do it. I don't know how much power and what kind of frequency, if they have any kind of like roll off, like high pass and low pass crossovers, or if it's just full. I don't know. Thank you for tuning in, Vega. I appreciate you, buddy. Get some sleep, man. They're dropping like great stream. Have a great night, guys. Thank you for tuning in, Jeff. I appreciate you, man. Poor. Yes. Man, you forgetting the whole words. You're right, man. You're forgetting the whole words. All of them. This can go both ways. Poor people are smarter than rich people. It can go both ways. Car Audio Boss, thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. RGA says bank equipment installation for Diamond. I can't. DIY Audio Guy says, Andy, I want to talk to you about this also new opportunity. You just have to sell health supplements to your friends and get them to sign up to sell to their friends. That sounds like a pyramid scheme. I know those. That's like the pink zebra, those melts. Let's just say we have a lot of pink zebra, and it was really hard to sell it. And we didn't make much money. I can't type for crap on my cell phone. It's okay, man. I ain't kicking it yet. I'm still hanging in there, man. Do you go live, Garrett? I would definitely tune in if you did. Brian Townsend says, I worked at a car audio shop in the early 90s. I never got a paycheck. It went straight to audio equipment. You know what? That's perfect. You know, who needs to eat or pay their bills, you know? Get the equipment. Hey, you don't even have to give me that paycheck. I'm just going to take these 2 Alpine Type Rs and this MRP 1000. I'm good. I'll see you later. You know? Absolutely, man. El Fuego, 14.4 volt talk pyramid scheme. I can't. So anyway, yeah, my first amplifier, might as well say it. I know I talked about it a little bit earlier, but it was a Jensen 340 1150M. So 340 watts. I think it was like 150 RMS at 4 ohms. And it was okay. But I didn't need that much power. I had it on a Lightning Audio 10-inch woofer from Walmart. And it was put in a box that you buy at Walmart that you put together. You know the ones where you have to like screw it together and then it falls apart halfway through the song after you first installed it, that kind of box. So and that's a little wink on what's coming up. But not going to say too much about it. But yeah, dude, that was my first system. And the amp was purchased at Target for like $80. When Target used to sell amps, they don't sell amps anymore. And it drives me nuts. I really wish they did. MBE up in here. Oh, snap. Sherwood 240. What's going on, MBE? I checked in on your live when you were asking about, I think it was the coil size of the one kicker or something like that. I seen everyone comment numbers, and I'm like, what's going on? Garrett's pick looking like McGruff the crime fighting dog. Absolutely. Deviant says Andy's dream to have Deviant in 25 do a live stream on YouTube. Oh wait, that's almost everyone's dream. Bro, listen. You need to go live. You need to go live. And if you're going to go live, you're going to go live with me. And if you go live with someone else, I will find you. And I can't say it on YouTube. Okay? You need to go live. I think it'll shake some rust off and clear some waves. You know what I mean? Justin said, my first amp was a Sherwood. I think we brought that up earlier. I went through the list and everything, but that's awesome, man. Sherwood, I need to look those up for sure. Phone's going off. Reminder, eBay. Ooh, I could buy another headlight. No, I'm good. One's good enough. Let's see here. El Fuego's shouting out MBE enclosures. Keep up the content. Just putting my Comp Q15 and 5 cubic foot ported box to 34 hertz. That's awesome. What did you decide on the port area to be on that, El Fuego? Let me know. Yeah, MBE has been dropping some videos with some free air, and it's making me want to do a free air video for some stuff. That'll be definitely cool. Got to check out his content. I'm sure a lot of you guys already are subscribed. Damn it, Andy, I got to rewind for a second. MBE got my attention at first, but not no more. What the heck? Come on, 25. MBE is a different kind of YouTuber, man. He is a guy that's going to tell you stories, and he's going to tell you truths, and he's going to tell you false, and he's just going to cover a lot of different stuff and just tell you how he feels. Garrett says, oh man, the other night someone made me go check out the JBL system in his new truck. He cranked the head unit bass and volume to the max. It was just the most distorted mess ever, and he was yelling, yeah, man. You know what? There's always that guy, and I was never that guy, honestly. Like, yeah, I would have the bass, and it's like, well, that just doesn't sound good. Let me turn that down. It might have been a little distorted, you know, a little bit of clipping, but not that bad. I know those people, man, and they come up rolling, dude, like you said. And it's like their treble's down, so their bass sounds louder, and their bass is cranked up, and their front speakers are just crackling, screaming for their life. And their subwoofer, who knows what it sounds like, really. It's all distortion. And yeah, they're having a good time. You can't hate on it, but it's like, hey, listen, let's get you set up. I'm sure you helped them out a little bit there, Garrett, knowing you. Damn straight. El Fuego says 14.4 volt talk live stream presented by Living Loud with Andy. Let's do it. Now that I dropped a few people from my YouTube subscription, I may check out MBE. He's not bad, man. I don't know why to hate. 25. Oh, Andy, front stage or front stage and backstage? I know that they were talking about this on the Kicker on Mass show. I like the rear stage because, you know what, sometimes I sit in the back of my car if my car has back seats. And, you know, you don't want to just hear bass back there. Now, how often do you sit in the back seat? Not very often. So how important is it? I don't know. I feel like, honestly, the rear fill is better for whenever I'm like giving a demo outside of the car and I'm opening both the doors and, you know, doing like a park and pound kind of setup, you know, where you're going to feel the bass and you're going to hear the mids and highs, and it's just more speakers in there. So it's just going to be naturally louder. But I'm not an SQ guy, so that's why it works better for me. And then you also said 4, 6, 5 two-ways. I mean, honestly, as long as you have all your bandwidths covered and it sounds full, you know, you got your bass, obviously. You got your mid, but not too much mid. I hate mid-range. I freaking hate it. And then, because I put a little dip, you know, the V dip, you know, bass up here, dip, and treb. Sounds pretty good. Other than like country stuff, it's kind of a little too boomy. But anyway, absolutely, man. I mean, I feel like the different ways and how they say that, it's just like an extra tweeter or a bigger tweeter and a smaller tweeter, and they have different crossovers. Not too worried about that stuff. As long as you have it and sounds good, that's all that matters. Make room for good content. Absolutely. Coil and the The Backstage Boys. You know it. Deviant says, RGA, I've been subbed to you way too long, and you and your family always had my back. Never unsub from you. All right, cool. Well, I think we covered almost everything tonight, and we're kind of winding down. And I feel like everyone's still here, so I want to be able to say goodbye to everyone that's been watching this whole time and not drag this show out too long. And I feel like we got a lot accomplished today. We had a good time, and I got to see a lot new / old and all above familiar faces, and then some. And it was just cool to see a lot of new people and people from my past to jump on my feed tonight. And we had the most ever on my feed, and it's growing every time, which is a good sign. That means what we're doing is what people like. So, and that's how the algorithm works. And you know it. Smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe. You guys know it. It's Andy McGill, living loud with Andy. You know the guy. But thank you for tuning in, everyone. And I think I'll have a video for this week, and it's not going to be a full video, but it's going to be a little video to hold you by. But we're probably going to go live after the Kicker on Mass show. So thank you guys for hanging out this whole time and tuning in, and stay living loud, everyone. I will see you on the next one.